Hey friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to Wrestle Juice. So AEW's All In is in the books, and as usual here at Wrestle Juice, I'm sort of trying to wrap my head around exactly how to cover it. How do I talk about it here in Wrestle Juice? Something that I haven't said already over at either Going In Raw, where we did our podcast review, or over at the Friendo Club Wrestling channel, where we did our star ratings today. And so I'm trying to wrap my head around the whole All In experience, and it sort of hit me while thinking about it. I was looking through social media posts, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and I was looking for hot takes. And honestly, I sort of came up dry. Not a lot of big hot takes out there because the discussion for All In seems to be about two different things, about two very separate things. And I can sort of sum up these things in two tweets that I stumbled upon. The first one is this one, and it's Tony's. I gotta move to the side because Tony Schiavone's tweet is taking up all this room. He said this: "What made last night great was not the matches, not the pyro, not the music, it was the fans. If you think I'm pandering, then you've never had the honor of hearing the fans sing your name. Thanks for the incredible memories, hashtag all in." So Schiavone makes a great point here. The 80,000 plus fans in attendance at All In really made the night special. What could have been a regular, normal, pretty fun, well-paced pay-per-view in any arena around the country was elevated to kind of like WrestleMania highs, having broken the all-time record for most people jammed into one place to watch wrestling. And I thought it was a very, very, very special show, and so much of the discourse around All In, thankfully, has been a positive one. There's always going to be those weirdos out there who are like, oh, they didn't actually sell 80,000. They really only sold 60, right? Or thinking that Tony Khan paid for all the seats. I don't know about all that. I don't really care about all that. Tony Khan says it can be verified. Who am I to disagree with that? It seems like they, in fact, got the record for the most people shelling out money to watch pro wrestling in one place. All In was a fantastic show. I thought from beginning to end wasn't a lot to complain about. Yes, you could complain. Mainly, my biggest complaint about it was maybe they could have shifted some of the matches from All In to All Out and made some room for more of the women's division. But it seems kind of obvious at this point that A, the people who are paying money to go to All Elite wrestling shows are not going to see women's wrestling, and B, Tony Khan sort of views women's wrestling in the same light in terms of the amount of energy expended on it as Vince McMahon did pre-Four Horsewomen. I'm talking about the Divas era. If you look at the WrestleManias of years past before the Four Horsewomen came along, usually they'd get like one match at a WrestleMania, one match per pay-per-view, not a lot of emphasis placed on the women. And Tony Khan, as he mentioned in the post-show scrum yesterday, sort of feels that that's about the amount of energy the women's division deserves in AEW. It's why Mercedes Moné will never sign a deal there. She might make appearances in AEW, but if she's sitting there during All In and she's thinking, wow, cool, the women got a entirety of 8 minutes and 50 seconds out of like a 4 or 5 hour show, whatever it was, I could understand why she probably won't end up signing a deal there. That's my prediction. Maybe she thinks she'll be able to change things. I'm sure Saraya literally said she was planning on having things changed, and then nothing changes. It is what it is. That's my main complaint about the show. Beyond that, the actual matches were, I thought, pretty much across the board, pretty darn good. Not a lot of duds. In fact, I can't think of an actual dud on the card. I thought the main event was absolutely fantastic. Continuing on the story of Adam Cole and MJF being friends. How do you do that? How do you send the folks home happy? How do you send them home satisfied and you continue the story? These two guys doing everything in their power to maintain their friendship and win the title at the same time, and they couldn't do it. So MJF ended up getting the win. I thought it was really good. FTR versus Young Bucks, I thought was one of my now match of the year candidates. Up and down the card, I thought it was really, really good what we actually did get. So I thought All In was a really, really good show. Now we've got another tweet to talk about the discourse of everything else that's going on. And of course, it wouldn't be an AEW show if it wasn't for Phil Brooks, CM Punk. From this tweet, Cole173 says, I really wish these CM Punk problems and reports would end. It's been going for a year now, and it's just such a dead horse that keeps getting beat AEW needs to figure some shit out ASAP. The thing that I like about this particular tweet is that it doesn't really ascribe blame beyond AEW needs to get their shit figured out. Now, I did a video about 3 months ago, and it was called something like moving on without CM Punk, I think it was. Where is it? I don't even know where it is anymore. But yeah, it was about 3 months ago. Here it is. Moving on without CM Punk. That's what it is. It was when Collision was announced, and it was going to be like his show, and the whole plan of keeping people separate was going to be a thing. Now, it does seem like CM Punk and the Elite have managed to stay away from each other. Evidently, he texted Hangman Page an apology after he told a lame joke after the Collision taping a few weeks ago. That all seemed to be smoothed out. We had a CM Punk match followed by like a Young Bucks match, followed by like a Kenny Omega match, all squished together. So you would imagine there was probably some amount of like, hey, isn't that so-and-so over there? They were able to coexist in the same building. The only problem was CM Punk's locker room leadership ability seems to be a little bit, up in the air, given that apparently a couple months ago, apparently this happened in June, he gave a little bit of a talking to Jack Perry about wanting to use like real glass in some sort of segment on an episode of Collision. Fast forward to All In. During his match against Hook, Jack Perry looked in the camera after being put through a windshield, or putting Hook through a windshield, and saying, "It's real glass, cry me a river." Now, according to reports, there was a backstage altercation between CM Punk where apparently he got in Jack Perry's face, or vice versa. Words were said, people were shoved, and Jack Perry ended up in some sort of chokehold. Which now the discourse is just around CM Punk again. They took one of the biggest events of the year, and then it just turns into a backstage altercation with CM Punk. Of course, we're 1 week away from the anniversary of Brawl Out, where a backstage situation with CM Punk led to, I don't know, you remember, it was just a big giant mess. In the video that I posted here 3 months ago, I suggested that one of several things were probably going to happen. Number one, maybe, just maybe, CM Punk will actually ride out the rest of his contract. He'll keep his nose clean and everything will be fine. But eventually, 2 years from now or whatever, his contract's going to expire. And given that this is probably going to be his last run, you would think, given that he's old and he can't even hit a GTS on Samoa Joe, chances are his body's just not going to hold up and he's going to walk away. That's my guess. I also suggested that maybe, just maybe, the whole experiment of keeping everybody separate that don't like each other on different brands was an asinine idea and it was never going to work. Seems like we might be straying closer into that territory, because some of the reporting also suggests that CM Punk threatened to quit in all the heat of the moment during the Jack Perry situation. Now, Brian Alvarez is saying that pending an investigation, the belief is CM Punk and Jack Perry have both been suspended from AEW, and there's no guarantee they're going to be at All Out. Now, for Jack Perry, this is kind of a lot of nothing. He's young. He's got a long career ahead of him, and WWE would love to take him. But for CM Punk, this is kind of a lot different. They're very different situations, because All Out has sold a lot of tickets in Chicago, and I will guarantee you the vast majority of those tickets are people who are there to see CM Punk. So if this investigation wraps up pretty quickly, then maybe he'll be at All Out. If this investigation takes anywhere close to the amount of time the Brawl Out investigation took, which again, very different situations, CM Punk is probably not going to be at All Out. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen. I suspect Tony Khan is going to do everything in his power to make sure CM Punk goes to All Out. And so this is probably going to be much ado about nothing in the short term. In the long term, you got to ask yourself, is Tony Khan at any point, is he going to put his foot down and say, okay, I got to step up and be a real leader. I got to make sure that this kind of shit doesn't continue. I got to get everybody on the same page of at least some amount of professionalism. And again, I'm not ascribing blame to anybody, anyone, or anything except for Tony Khan, he is the owner of the company. This kind of shit would not go down in Vince McMahon's WWE. Yes, I understand Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were like ripping each other's hair out. But if I'm not mistaken, after that, they had an epic rivalry and everybody was able to work with everybody at that point. It's been very rare in WWE. Like, for example, Hulk Hogan didn't want to work with Rick Rude allegedly because Rick Rude was a legit tough guy. Doesn't work for me, brother. That's fine. But no time in wrestling have we seen a situation like this where basically the owner of the company is like, yeah, whatever will be, will be. I'm a big CM Punk fan, so, you know, I'm not going to get rid of him. I'm not going to get rid of Kenny and the Bucks. I'm going to sign them to huge deals, and we'll just, you guys will figure it out. Well, they're kind of not figuring it out. Instead, it's just shenanigans that are taking away from the wonderment that was All In, which again, that was a really terrific show. So what's going to happen with CM Punk at this point? Either he'll be at All Out or there's going to be some serious shit that goes down because that Chicago crowd is not going to be happy and they will take over that show if he is not going to be there at All Out. What plans were there for CM Punk at All Out? I would speculate that maybe CM Punk and Ricky Starks was going to be the match for All Out's main event with the Real World's Championship on the line. Again, that's probably in doubt right now. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about All In. What was your favorite match? What was your favorite thing? And let me know what you guys think about the CM Punk situation. Do you expect to see him at All Out? And if he doesn't show, are we looking at a riot? Check out these videos over here. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you around.